Welcome back everyone, 𝘱𝘱𝘺𝘱 here, and in today's video, I'm giving you 5 more life decisions that helped me retire at the age of 24 as a self-made millionaire. Honestly, every time I say that, I kind of cringe a little bit, but I know that's what I gotta say for people to watch these videos. So let's get right into it. I have 3 other videos on this. I'll go ahead and make an playlist, and you can watch the other of those after this one. I got 5 more coming next week. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing is being open to every single opportunity. I did this to the very extreme. If someone was like, oh, hey, I have this business idea, would love to invite you to this lunch, I wouldn't ask questions, I would just show up. But now I value my time a little bit more than I did in my early 20s, and I have to ask the questions because the last thing I want to do is end up at a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme company that is like to sell overpriced clothes or stupid skincare products. I'm very anti-MLM because I think the culture is extremely unethical. That's like a video for another day, but that is something that I have no desire to be a part of. But I found myself at so many darn multi-level marketing luncheons or, girls' nights to like find out about this business opportunity to be a girl boss. Never again. I ask a lot of questions. I make sure that it is not a multi-level marketing situation. But like I said, I was open to every single opportunity. I was willing to meet with people that I sort of kind of knew to see if we could collaborate in any way and create like win-win scenarios. I was very open, very willing to listen, ask questions. And what was great was I had my food truck business, and in my off season, which was like November to like March or April, I had a lot more free time. So I would always focus those months on just being open to all business opportunities and listening to every single person that came to me with an idea, and also seeking people out to see if there's any particular way that we could collaborate. So being super open was really important. I think it's really easy in business for people to be like super skeptical, but being open for me was so beneficial. If I wasn't open, I wouldn't have found Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So that is something that I think is extremely key if you want to find financial freedom. Number 2, simple. I just worked really freaking hard. I pushed myself to the limits. I spent so much time convincing myself that I wasn't tired. I spent so much time just pushing past resistance and working as hard as I possibly could. I did it to the point where it actually probably became dangerous, and sometimes I'm surprised that I didn't get seriously injured or that I'm still alive. But working extremely hard and prioritizing work over fun for a period of time worked well for me. Now I'm in a phase of my life where I'm all about enjoying life to the fullest, and I feel like I dedicated about 9 or 10 years of my life to working extremely hard, and now I'm being able to enjoy the benefits of that. But you also have to be careful of not becoming a workaholic. And honestly, I am shocked that I'm not a workaholic anymore, because looking back at myself, I didn't think I was going to be able to escape workaholicism. Most people, once they start like as a workaholic, it's really hard to not become one, kind of like every other addiction in life. So that's kind of just my perspective there. But the time that I spent there is absolutely paying off now. Number 3 is seeking win-win scenarios. So I was so fortunate that when I was in the food truck business, I had this amazing mentor, Ron Whiting. He had basically been in the concession business his entire life. And he brought the opportunity to me to sell Dippin' Dots ice cream. And what I learned about Ron, one of the most brilliant life lessons that really set me up on a really good path in life, is creating win-win scenarios. He presented me with an excellent option that was perfect. I had to put some skin in the game. I wasn't going to be handed everything. I appreciated that, but he wasn't overwhelmingly greedy. And his goal was to create a win-win scenario. And he repeated that all the time. Not only did he present me with a win-win scenario, but I saw him present win-win scenarios to many people around him as he was growing his business. And I think that we basically had a partnership. And in any successful partnership, both people have to feel like they're winning. And for me, when I come to an opportunity in business, I am absolutely seeking the win-win scenario. I want the other person to benefit just as much as me. And what happens in a scenario like that is that person feels like the work that they're putting in and what they're getting out of it is equivalent to what you're doing. And I'm sometimes even willing to give other people a little bit more, give them, a few more percentages than the 50%, because I think it's really important for people to feel like they're getting out what they're putting into a scenario. So honestly, I could have been so much greedier in so many scenarios in my life that had to do with business, to where I could have just tried to get more than 50%, or just put someone in a position where they weren't, getting like fully half. And I would probably have a lot more money if I was better at negotiating, a little bit greedier. But you know what? I'm glad that I didn't do that, because I can sleep at night knowing that every time when there was a business opportunity, I was looking for a equally win-win scenario. So how many times can I say win-win in one video? But I'm telling you, just like, don't seek out opportunities to where you're just trying to like screw someone. Like, keep your business line just as ethical as possible. You should think about business ethics the entire way through any scenario, and especially when you're in a partnership. Number 4, I asked for help. I was always seeking out people that were smarter than me, more experienced than me, had a heck of a lot more knowledge than me. I was not afraid to ask for help. And that took a little bit of time for me, because I am someone that I sometimes struggle asking for help. It's just like not in my nature. I've had to force myself to ask for help. But when you ask for help, really amazing things happen. So let me give you an example. When I was in the food truck business, I was one of the very few females out there. There was no other females out there. There was no one even close to being my age out there. I mean, I'd roll in, I'm like 21 years old, I'm towing this big trailer, I'm whipping it into these spaces, doing awesome parallel parking jobs. Like, I stood out like a sore thumb. The industry was basically men that were like between like 50 and 80. Okay, people stay in that business forever. And I asked them for help because they had been in the space longer than me, whether it was a business related thing or it was something to do with like something mechanical that needed to get fixed. And this is the thing, is they were so willing to help me. They were so willing to share their knowledge, to give me some of their time, to help me with things that were broken. And asking for help was one of the most important things that I did to help me get to where I am today. So, I mean, just a quick shout out to all those people in the concessions industry that like helped me, because they didn't have to do that. Like, I just really appreciate all the things that they did for me. Number 5 is side hustle. So like I said, in the concession business, there was an off season. It gave me the opportunity to seek out other businesses, other opportunities, other avenues of income. So I did things like I wrote a book, and then my friend got me into the concession space once. Or for example, I was doing a lot of sweepstakes. So there was one off season where I won like a $10,000 prize. So always trying to find side hustles, always exploring options of different ways to make money. They're not all gonna work. For example, one time I thought I was gonna be a professional ticket flipper. I was buying and selling tickets on StubHub, which is really hard because the fees are extremely, extremely high. But I completely failed. I probably lost like $10,000 trying to be a ticket flipper, mostly because the 49ers stopped winning. And I was buying a bunch of 49er tickets to resell. And then the tickets like literally went down like 75-80%. So you just have to try things. I mean, be a little bit more calculated than me. I'm not the most calculated person, but the problem is if I do too much research and I do too many calculations, I wouldn't do half the things that I do. So that's worked for me specifically, but you got to find your own strategy and your own way to do things. I also thought one time that I was going to be a professional gambler just because I went to the casino like 4 times during the month that I turned 21 and I collectively profited $6,000. I was like, wow, 4 times in a row, profit of $6,000 total. I had this like strategy at the $5 Wheel of Fortune machine. I was like, wow, maybe I could do this for a living. But yeah, that didn't work out either. So you just gotta try different things, try different side hustles, side gigs, projects, It's all about throwing arrows. In my early 20s, my strategy was just to throw arrows and see which ones would stick. And eventually some did. So you don't have to be right all the time. Sometimes you only have to be right once. So I hope you enjoyed this video on 5 life decisions that helped me retire at the age of 24 as a self-made millionaire. I hope you found this video valuable and helpful. If you'd like to support my channel in any way, I have some links down below for that. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.